Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on October 9, 2020 Global Technopolitics Forum's research team meeting. And sorry for all the problems we faced. We're a bit later than usual. So I have been traveling. I have been giving talks about fragmentation, internet fragmentation, and ICANN and democracy. And the latest, I think me and Greg wrote an article on Iranian uprising. I think that's the latest I can report to everybody. Greg, anything you want to mention?
No, I think that mostly gets it. I've been, as I think most people know, I've taken over the USC Center for International Studies this year, and that's taking up, even while I'm not teaching, that's taking up more of my time than I had expected it to. But it's been interesting. I've been doing that, and again, trying to desperately to finish my book and do forum things. So it's been a busy time.
Good. So, Puran, anything you want to discuss?
There are two principal updates from my side. One, that I have been able to get two of my full papers accepted by Springer Nature. So they're being edited, and I think in a couple of weeks, it will come back to me. And if they have any query or doubt or questions, I will fill that in, and then, so it will be out in the first quarter of 2023. In a special issue which Springer is going to publish, it is going to be called as World Sustainability Series, devoted to Asia Pacific. So this is a part one. Part two, that I'm also going to join in a community of experts at Media and Journalism Research Center in Spain. I'll be sending you the link, so that also gives me a little bit of connection to amplify that, right across, including with Global Technopolitics Forum. And finally, I'll be moving to Taipei on 26th of October for about 2 months, and then I'm back to Delhi only on 26th of December. So that's a brief update from my side.
Great. Firuze?
So I have also been traveling, just came back a few weeks ago.
You always are.
I'll be traveling again by the end of November, going to Asia this time, Malaysia, Indonesia, and then India. But before that, I'll address the last tweaks on the paper that I was working on when I was traveling. So that I can send it in, and so I'll make sure that I'll send that before I go off again. Just also was very interested in talking about the Iran uprising with you guys, and the hackers and the anonymous and what you guys. But I'm sure that we will get to that. Very much interested to see what you guys.
So, Firuze, when I be expecting the Africa paper?
Before I leave, I will show. Probably in 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
Yeah,
it would be good to publish that paper.
Yeah.
And we are writing one on China, which I really like to finalize that as well. So now maybe George, you want to talk about your work?
Yeah, sure. I just started to work on the update of the China work, which is about the infrastructure finance, and I will try to dig more into that and try to see whether what kind of technology is contributing to that, and how that could influence the international politics as well.
I think my understanding is that you have already researched on the topic, correct?
Yeah.
So you're summarizing that research and adding new sections to it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I do like to see a report. Have you sent any reports to Greg?
Not yet, actually. I will send it to I'll send you to later.
Yeah, because I do like to see the progress. I don't want to just end paper. I want to see what you're doing on a weekly basis. So I like to receive some reports on the progress of the work.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, George and I just fairly recently got connected, so
Yeah.
which is it's been
Sorry about
busyness
that.
at both ends, I suspect.
So next, maybe Jonathan, would you like to say what you have been involved with?
Yeah, of course. Professor Treverton and I have been working most on his book, and so I've been doing some editing for him and also done some research work with him. First, we started out looking at private enterprise competition between Chinese companies and U.S. companies and asymmetries there, and how that would affect a multipolar or unipolar world in the future. And after doing a little bit of work on that, we've sort of recently transitioned into looking at Europe, especially obviously Russia with Russia-Ukraine and how relations between Europe and moving towards Russia and moving towards the US, NATO interactions, and also alliances, the kind of loose and shaky alliance between Russia, China, and India, and then how that will affect populism and right-wing politics that have begun to spring up here in Europe recently.
Very interesting.
Yes,
Very
yes, it's
interesting.
been
We
very
look
helpful.
forward to
Thank you.
it.
It's really been very helpful. Thank you.
Good. Samuel?
Yeah, so I've still been conducting a fair bit of research just to complement a bunch of the ideas that I'm trying to get out going. Paul did get back to me on like a very brief outline about 10 days ago. And so I've been implementing his instructions and suggestions into forming a more comprehensive, finalized outline so I can move forward. And I just think that conducting all the research is going to continue to give me more information and evidence to add on. I haven't checked in back after he sent those recommendations, just because I've been working on my end. And also in regards to report, I can go ahead and make one in the coming days just so that you all are updated with what's been going on. But as of now, the research is still going on, and with all like just because it's a newer topic, I think there's a lot of like new ideas being flown around, and it does become hard to find like concrete evidence in some cases. So I have been trying to be as refined as possible with like the sources I get. But it's a very engaging topic, and the progress is there, and I'm working on making it more comprehensive.
Great. So if you also send me a report, it will be good to see the progress of work, on a weekly basis.
Of course. Yes.
Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, no, well, not too much more to add over and above what Sam was just describing, but yeah, no, I think it's definitely a good start, and the key pieces there are there. More research to be done, as Sam was saying, and what he's doing. But from my perspective, I think the key is just focus, because it's a type of topic that could go all over the place, and the key is figuring some way to have some sort of rational focus to it and some sort of theme that connects the different parts. So that was the gist of my comments and feedback. But from what I can see, I think things are really moving well and on the right track, and it's going to be quite an interesting paper.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And where are you, Paul?
Well, in my usual
Back to Paris?
I've been traveling, but about 100 kilometers. So compared to everyone else's travel, it's pretty modest. But yeah, a weekend in the French countryside, and all I can say is that there are tons of apples, and I don't know what I'm going to do with all these apples, but I'd be happy to share them with people on the call if there was some way of doing that.
Make tarte tatin. Make tarte tatin, Calvados.
Yeah, well,
how much
even that
stuff can you actually eat?
I'd have to make like 5 of those things. I mean, and even that wouldn't exhaust the supply.
How many are we on this Zoom?
Yeah. Let's put it this way: the gas supply is disappearing here, and I think about a third of the country's gas stations are shut down. But for that, then we can make that up with apples, hopefully.
Yeah, energy crises are becoming quite serious in Europe, actually. In Germany, I hear from friends that there is a lot of shortage. Now, Paul tells us about France, and I know I'm in England, and here there are some problems as well. So slowly, slowly, it's creeping in.
Yeah, no, on Friday I was on a street. There was a lot of, a lot of cars, and it wasn't really even rush hour. And someone pointed out that it was because the only gas station that was open in that part of the city was just inundated with people. I mean, it's a huge line of people that just completely blocked the streets. So it's gotten quite severe. As I say, the latest report on French news this afternoon was that about a third of the gas stations across the country are shut down, and there's a strike going on as well by the workers in refineries, because they feel that they're not getting compensated enough for the time and effort that they're putting in, and also the cost of living increases that inflationary pressure has.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
France always is strong.
Always
It's
the-
Yeah.
national pastime.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
indeed.
Les manifs.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, Iranians are becoming like that. Every few months we have another uprising. So Firuza, are you more optimistic about this one?
So this is a very good segue, actually, because now the concerns are that Biden is making a deal with the Iranians in the middle of all these uprisings so that they will get some sort of a oil flowing. So I don't know whether the rumors are correct or not, because apparently Saudi Arabia diminished they cut down on their supply, which is a very, really bad timing, considering Biden went fist bumped with this murderer, and yet they cut down on their so this is like a lot of Iranians are completely like livid about the fact that at this time by the Biden administration would try and cut a deal with the Iranians. And there was a release of a prisoner, the Bagher Namazi, which also kind of reinforced this rumor that maybe there is some backdoor dealing going on. So I hope that it's not true. I am myself always for the nuclear deal and kind of relief from sanctions, but I think that this juncture in time, that this is a very bad timing for a deal to go on. So I hope that that's not going on. But it's been a very interesting uprising to see how this thing is like wildfire just caught on. There are demonstrations every single day. What I found interesting is that there's an influential outlet headquartered in London called Iran International, and through South they have a lot of money. And they diffuse it, through satellite, through Iran, all over that. And they're focused on human rights and LGBTQ issues. And when you dig to see where the funding comes from, it's all Saudi money. Ironic. I mean, like the Saudis are behind.
Wow.
Like this whole thing is like truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. So I found that ironic. I'm kind of a little bit, I'm disgusted by the fact that it's Saudi money behind it, but I'm conflicted. I wanted to hear, I'm sure Perry, about this outlet and the funding that is behind it. And I also saw the hacking event on Iranian television, on Iranian state television. So as they were talking state propaganda, all of a sudden they hacked in, and you have so it's good. I mean, it's like, because we always look at how state surveillance and the state power with whatever they have, all the resources, is going to always be like one step ahead of democratic movements and people's uprising. And then you see these little movements and the hackers and the anonymous, coming in and disrupting it. So that's always a joy to watch. I don't know how it will pan out. I'm concerned on one side that there's no leader for the opposition when the regime is so structured and so powerful and so entrenched on every layers. On the other hand, you can make the argument that because there is no leader, there is no one person that they can get rid of. And even you see little snippets of people talking on WhatsApp to say, make sure that when you go out, there isn't one person that is identifiable to the regime, so that the regime cannot take that one person away. Make sure that everybody is in sync, and it is portrayed, and it looks exactly like a mass uprising that is grassroots and organic, and with not a single opposition, not a single leader. So there's like these two sides, and I wanted to get everybody's kind of take on this. So over to you guys.
There was also hacking on Friday. They hacked one of the SIM card providers and sent a message to all the mobile phones in terms of how to demonstrate and where to demonstrate. That was another hacking situation that happened. But meanwhile, internet is mostly down in Iran, and people have difficulty to connect and communicate. Regardless, they have been able to manage. And also, as you know, the administration gave green light both to Elon Musk and to Google
Yes.
to provide VPN, and Elon Musk to provide Starlink, which was out of the playbook with Ukraine, because they did it the same things. That time it took a long time. This time they knew exactly what to do, so right away they did it. So those are good and positive, sort of moves in terms of ensuring Iranians have access to internet.
Except that when I saw the Starlink thing, and we all went, okay, Elon Musk, yes, Starlink. And then they said, well, no, it's not quite that simple, because you have to have a lot of hardware on the ground for them to be able to access. It was different for Ukraine, because the government of Ukraine was pro Starlink, and so they got on the bandwagon immediately, and they organized for all the hardware. But it's not the same thing in Iran, so they can't. You have to be. It's one thing for Starlink to be available, another thing for people to be able to use it. I don't know.
That difficulty exists, but nevertheless, Iranians are pretty web savvy, and opposition is strong, despite the fact that the face of opposition is a bunch of girls. There is far more is happening behind the scene, and I think it's decentralized, yes, but there is a lot of guidance happening beyond the scenes. So,
are you optimistic, Parijun?
No, I think that the regime will crash it. However, I think a very strong civil society is born out of it. And I think that it's a matter of when rather than if. So I don't think it's going to happen right now, but I think something is going to happen. Also, Iranians are going full force. Partly, I think my interpretation is because of Iran's alignment with China and Russia, which is increasing if the conversation fails with Biden administration. So I think that's one reason that Iranians going full force trying to change before it goes behind so-called Iron Curtain or whatever, goes completely towards East Bloc. So that's one thing that, I think it's concerning. So I think that this negotiation with Biden administration, it's a bit concerning in one hand. In another hand, we don't want to completely for Iranian to feel that there's no hope, because then they will go completely towards East Bloc.
I agree. Have you heard anything about the billions that was released? They say Biden released
because
billions
of
dollars.
because of Bagher Namazi.
So it is a fact. So you've also heard that, and you think there's substance to that rumor.
There was a agreement that they swap prisoners and some money which was frozen will be given. I don't know if it's given. I'm very conflicted because Bagher is a friend and I really like to see him released.
Yeah,
He
I
and
feel
his son,
conflicted about the
especially
whole
he,
thing.
yeah,
And,
yeah, he's
I
a
know.
friend and I really like to see him come back.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it's on Mac as well. I mean, I don't know them personally, but it doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Greg?
No, I just, I mean, it sounds like you all hit kind of the main points. I think after 40 years, it's hard to be optimistic. On the other hand, the organization does seem interesting, or the lack of organization, the decentralization, as you said, Firouzeh, is interesting. It's a liability in one sense, but a great asset in another. And it does seem like there's an awful lot of both spontaneity and also willingness to take risk after risk. So this does have at least for me, a more real flavor about it than some of the previous protests in Iran have.
I think they did something really clever by involving the kids. This is schoolgirls. It's very hard. It's painful to watch it, but when they shot at them, it involves the whole country. So I think if there was a way of drawing the masses of people in, this was the way, and they have done it. Now, how long it's going to stay, to what extent, they've shown resilience, but for how long, that's questionable. But nevertheless, if there was a way of doing it, this was the best way. This was a way that really involves the whole population when they demonstrate.
well, I'm sorry, June, you say they draw in the school kids. Who do you mean by they? I mean, doesn't this look like a spontaneous kind of something that just...
I think nothing is ever completely spontaneous. There is a body of people which is very angry in Iran. They're like a box of dynamite waiting to explode, but always they need something to ignite it. And there are people who know what they're doing. It's not all, and that's normal. I'm not saying that, you know, this is foreign forces. This is internal, it's Iranian drama, it's Iranian agency, but nevertheless, there are individuals there. Now, some of them are from reformists, some of them are had grievances. There are a lot of ethnic political activists. There are a variety of activists. And when the opportunity comes, they know what they're doing and how they're doing it. So when I say they, it's the people inside Iran, but some of them are have far more expertise in, you know, uprising and how to fight in the street. And I see it online, how they're training the kids what to do, you know. So there are all those things going on online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see anything, send them to me as well. I'm getting things all the time from everywhere.
Okay. You're bombarded. Maybe you should send us some. But we wrote an article, actually. It will be published, hopefully, and I will send you that article. But a lot of developments.
One thing that is, for me, interesting to see, because I also get stuff from the other side, and to see the ideological resolve from the other side, that, you know, they see themselves as the protectors of the country and the regime is the country, and it's such an entrenched ideological situation on the other side that you kind of see. It's good. I think in every situation, it's good to see everything from both perspectives, because that gives you a better understanding of what the situation is. And also to see women in Gashter Shah as the morality police, so many women who are chador clad and cracking down on other women, because we make a mistake of sometimes presenting things as a black and white men against women, the women's freedom, and you see women like beating up on other women, and
from day one, actually, Gashter Shah was women from day one. So this is 40 years of doing it. Yeah. So now changing the conversation from Iran. First of all, is there anything anybody else wants to talk about? No. So I am giving a talk about internet and democracy. And basically, I'm looking at one organization, which is ICANN, and looking at the core of internet and multi-stakeholder model. Anybody has any comment on those areas, especially multi-stakeholder model versus multilateral model? No.
We've
Okay.
been back and forth a lot on this issue, and I think you're right to keep emphasizing multi-stakeholder. But we do have this competition with the Chinese and others who would like to, to have it be multilateralized, bring in the countries. So finding a mix between countries and other stakeholders, including the companies, I think that's a great challenge you're working on, Buddy, which is terrific.
Yeah, multi-stakeholder model always involves or provides a seat to national nation states.
Right.
So they are included, but of course, the multilateral is primarily decisions are made by the nation states. Now, last week there was a election for ITU, which is again a standardization of internet and telecommunication. So for 2 terms, it was a Chinese leadership, and now it switched to the competition was between Russia and United States, and United States took over. And so now the leadership is from United States, and it's a female. I forgot the name, but it's a female. First time a woman leading ITU, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But ITU is multilateral,
Right.
versus ICANN, and it has been trying actually to push ICANN away and take the ICANN, actually include ICANN into ITU. There was that move happening, which would end up with fragmentation of internet, but luckily now it seems it's going to go in different direction, which is good news, I think.
Good.
So yeah, any comment from anybody on these issues? Internet fragmentation, multilateral and multi-stakeholder models?
I may very quickly comment for it. Internet Governance Forum taking place in Kenya in November is also going to be talking quite a bit about multilateralism, openness, global common, and they're all trying to say that how could anybody, China, Russia, or anyone, how could anybody try and propose a proposition to either divide or distribute or truncate internet and things around it, while it is a global common. So it'll be a very good idea, and I'll be very happy to take some of the things out of it, because they are now beginning to put their agenda, and people who are going to organize the conference, and there are a couple of town halls which they are going to put together. So I'll be very happy to send you the link, and those links will probably give you 2 things, which I personally feel. One, that there are quite a few civil society institutions which have been invited to hold or organize town hall meetings, very spread out kind of groups, and very fascinating themes and topics. And secondly, the kind of focus that they're going to put on IGF of 2022 is very close to what you might be kind of thinking.
I'm actually a member in IGF. Yeah, I'm quite involved with IGF. Yeah, but not in this meeting and gathering you're talking about. So yeah, please send me the link. But yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So Samuel, Jonathan, and George, is there anything you guys like to discuss, or are you comfortable with what you're doing and said?
I think I'm pretty comfortable. I've had some pretty good communication with Professor Treverton. I just plan on continuing that.
Great.
Yeah, me too. I think I just started to yeah, but I think it will be good.
Great.
Good. Yeah, I'll try to be a better correspondent, George. Sorry.
No, it's my problem. Sorry about that.
All right. So if there isn't anything else to discuss, then I wish everybody a wonderful week ahead. And I think we will have a meeting next week, but I will send you a link once we decided. I will send you a link.
Hi, June,
So
where are you right now? And are you coming back to LA at all?
I'm in London right now.
In London, okay.
Yes, I am actually going to Brussels. I'm traveling a bit. I will go to Brussels, Berlin, and to Milan. And from Milan, I may be coming to LA in December, probably, or mid-November, sometime late November, probably. I will be that side of the world.
Okay.
But
Let me know if you
probably
get to
by
Paris,
that time you left. Paris, not this time.
I was going to say, if you come to Paris, I can give you some apples.
Last time, yeah. Yeah, it was nice to meet Paul actually in Paris when I was there, and I learned about all his hidden places around.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, then.
All right.
Wishing
Good week, everybody.
everybody, yes, have a wonderful week and see you next week, probably. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Nice to see everyone.
Yes.